We are going to be discussing selling with no fear, all right? And so as we get this getting ready to rock and roll, if you guys could get a notepad out here, all right? We are going to get ready to break down the strategies of what it's going to take to, of course, do this and do it the right way, all right? And so many of you guys know a little bit about me, all right? My name is Chad, as of course. You guys have seen me already. All right. And so I am from Michigan, born and raised, best-selling author of the book on high-ticket sales, head strategist, 8-figure sales trainer. Fun fact, employee number 8. Now, what I want you guys to hone in on here is if you look at this slide, it says bold, born and raised in Michigan. Now, how many of you guys are from Michigan? Give me a hand raise. I want to know who's here from Michigan. All right, we got a handful of folks. Well, all the folks that are from Michigan here, you're probably going to hate me because I'm going to give away the secrets. Well, this right here is where I spent my summers. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's beautiful. You see, I spent time with family, friends, sat around a campfire on the lake. I learned to water ski, swim. I ate my first watermelon slice sitting around Long Lake in Harrison, Michigan. And this was a special place in my heart. Every weekend in the summer growing up, my parents, we were at the lake. Whether it was during the week, if we could have a full week, we were there. All right? Never did I not want to be at the cabin. All right? In fact, my parents are tuning in right now, and guess where they are? At the cabin. All right? Now, and from Michigan, I actually went to Central Michigan University, Fire Up Chips. If there's anyone here, had a great time there. And I ran into two of my now closest friends. I already introduced you to my buddy Dylan. And Dylan and I were recruited to do this crazy door-to-door sales internship called Southwestern Advantage. Now, depending on where you live, you might have had a college student knock on your door saying, I'm selling educational books to help other parents help with their kids with homework, all right? And so this is what I did, Southwestern Advantage. Now, what's interesting is there's over 100,000 alumni that have actually done this internship. And this is the most notable one, as you guys probably will recognize. Who knows these folks right here? Yep, we know who that is. Chip and Joanna Gaines, all right? And Chip actually sold for 2 summers. Okay, so kind of interesting to be, in the same, crew, whatever from that, all right? And so I was actually, when I was told about this, I was like, Chip's in it? Oh, Rick Perry, all these politicians, what, And I was pitched on the money, the possibilities. Marie said, Chad, if you come out and sell books this summer, I didn't even know what I was doing at this point. You can make $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, more than your buddies make in college, and you'll learn some valuable lessons in life. All right. Now, I had no idea what he was talking about. At this point, just to remind you guys, I'd never done sales ever, okay? Never in my life have I sold anything, all right, ever at this point. And I remember when I was in that moment of being excited. Of course, as a college student, I don't have all the confidence in the world yet, so what do I do when I try to make decisions? Well, I go ask mom and dad. And I said, Mom, what do you think of this internship? I don't know if I want to do it because the cabin, the summers, I can't leave it. It's so amazing. I've already told all of my friends that we're going to do this thing and do that. And my mom said, Chad, wait, opportunities in life don't come by all the time. And sometimes when an opportunity comes, you have to take it because guess what? The cabin is always going to be here. The lake's not going anywhere, so take the opportunity when it presents yourself. And so, of course, that meant no summer lake at the lake, okay? And I decided to go venture on this crazy thing and go sell books door to door. Let's see, this was 100% commission-based. There was no guarantees. I had no idea if I was going to be successful, all right? In fact, we did a very short training for about the first month before I left, all right? And then we were driving in a caravan. All the college kids that agreed to do this thing, they're going to get in a caravan, and we're going to drive all the way down to Nashville, Tennessee, where we're going to now meet up with thousands of other college kids from all over the country, all right, and go to sales school. And the purpose of sales school is to get us primed and ready for every challenge, all right, that was going to come up and we're going to face. All right, but keep in mind, I'm just a college kid from a small college town. I've never done this before. It was pretty scary. In fact, I don't think I've ever left the state of Michigan by myself, okay? I'm going to remind you guys again, I never sold anything in my life. I don't even think I realized what I signed up for. But I was dreaming of the possibilities. And as we drove from Michigan, all I could think about was, the new guitar I was going to buy, the Taylor 300C, whatever. I'm going to finally get that guitar. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be able to leave the job as the dishwasher at the local college cafeteria. I'm going to have $5,000 in my bank account, right? I'm thinking about all these possibilities. And as you all probably know, eventually when you're up here, when you're really excited about something, what happens? The high begins to slowly wear off, okay? And it started to hit me as I crossed the border and I came up to the first sign of South Bend, Indiana. And there was a moment where I started to think, what did I sign up for? All right? The money, the excitement, I was so caught up in this moment. What am I doing? And fear was really beginning to set in. All right? Now, there's one thing I've learned in life is that where focus goes, energy flows. And so I was focused on, I've never talked to anyone. What am I going to say to these people if I just walk up to their door? You want to buy some books? What am I supposed to do? I've never done this before. And it was in that moment that my energy, everything was taking me. And I was thinking, what should I turn around? Like, what am I doing? And then I remembered I was taught how to do a pre-approach, okay? And a pre-approach is very simple. All right, so as you can see this gentleman here in this picture, well, it's the first thing that we were told to say to someone to break the ice, okay? So the goal of a pre-approach was, number one, to approach someone, introduce myself. Hello, my name is Chad. I'm with Southwestern Advantage, and I'm talking to all the families this summer about how they can help their kids, get prepared for the ACTs and help their kids understand math better. And I just spoke with Karen next door, and she mentioned that you guys had kids in high school. So I wanted to swing on by, all right? And so that was my introduction, all right? And then eventually I would ask for, hey, do you know who lives in the next house next door? And they would say, oh, it's Steve. And so when I'd approach Steve, I'd say, hey, Steve, it's Chad. I just talked to Dave and Karen. And his guard would drop a little bit, all right? Because I knew their name. They're just like, what's this guy doing? All right, so now the reason I share that with you is this is going to lead into our first lesson. If you guys want to get good at sales and overcome this fear, the first thing we have to do is we have to understand how to break the ice with confidence, okay? Now, the good news is I don't have to teach you guys anything crazy because we've had some amazing speakers that have also taught you guys this stuff already. The beautiful thing is your book is your pre-approach. Now, let me explain this to you. As you can see here, download the audiobook for free, but in order to get that, you got to put your name, your phone number, your email address in. And a lot of you guys, whether you are getting ready to sell a course or you have some sort of product or you have a team of people and they're scared, how do I reach out to these folks confidently? All right. Well, it's a lot easier when you know what you're going to say in a pre-approach. So here is a great script. So if any of you guys have cameras on your phones, I would just recommend taking a picture of this, okay? And you can mold it into your own. But it says, if I was picking up the phone, if someone opted in, I would say, hey, is this Susie? Well, yes, it is. It's Susie. Well, this is Chad. I'm with selfpublishing.com. Or you can say, I'm the author of the book on high ticket sales. I saw you downloaded my free resources from my book. And I wanted to check in and see how things were going. Is now a good time to chat for a few minutes? Very easy, very disarming. And the beautiful part is the difference of this when someone that doesn't do a pre-approach, we've all gotten a phone call from someone, and they might call you Judy Grossman, and they might say, hello, this is Chad. I'm calling from the pest control company. Do you have any bugs? And you say, I don't even know who you are. Hang up, click, right? She's shaking her head. She's like, yep, I'm hanging up. I'm clicking. But if I would called and said, hey, is this Judy? She'd be caught off guard. She'd say, yeah, who's calling? Well, hey, it's Chad. You actually applied for one of our surveys about, pest control support. Well, I just wanted to call and see if you still had an issue. That's it. Oh, yeah, we actually do, Chad. So much easier, right? So pre-approach. You guys have their names already, okay? You guys have your names already, all right? In addition to not just approaching someone over the phone, but in a PR outreach email, we have the same ability. Aaron taught you guys this earlier this week. This is an example of what I do, but it's the same structure. I'm not going to break down everything you need, but I did introduce myself with confidence. I said, hello, James. I wanted to reach out because I have really been enjoying your podcast recently and love your take on sales and entrepreneurship. I recently launched a book, currently #1 bestseller, with content you are sharing alongside with having a similar background. I think we could bring an entertaining episode to your listeners. All right? As you can imagine, it's been hectic. You guys know the drill. All right? But I'm introducing myself because I already know their name. So do your homework, okay? And feel free to take a picture of this, guys, if you'd like to. I know you got one from Aaron already, but really, really good stuff from a PR standpoint. Now, that being said, I continued on my drive because I felt at ease that I now knew of this thing called pre-approach. And as we continued driving along the way, we came to the next pass of the biggest city, Indianapolis, all right? Good old Indy. And as you can guess, the high began to wear off again and fear was setting in. And what did we learn just a moment ago? Where focus goes, energy what? It flows, right? Energy flows, all right? And so I started to think a little bit more about what I was doing. And part of me said, well, if I get in the door, how am I going to sell a product that I've never sold before? And so many of you guys might have just published your book and you've never really pushed it yet. Or maybe you just got that course done and you're trying to figure out, well, how am I supposed to explain it in a way where they're going to understand how good this thing can be for them, all right? And why they should buy it, all right? And of course, I remembered that I was given a sales script to follow. Now, the word script, I'm not a big fan of, all right? Because you sound like a robot. So lesson number 2, if you're taking notes, is you have to create a conversation structure. A conversation structure, all right? And the reason I call it a conversation structure is because it leads me in a direction and I know where I'm going. I'm going to break this down for you guys in a second, but I'm not reading from a script, okay? I'm having a conversation with folks. It's just kind of leading me, all right? I love this quote by Kim Orlesky. It says, your job is not to tell someone what their return on investment is. Your job is to ask the right questions for them to tell you, all right? And you do that by having a good conversation structure. So why do you need it though? As I explained, it's a map. It navigates you to your destination, which could be closing the deal or landing the podcast interview, whatever. It allows you to take your prospect on an emotional journey, okay? But I love this. First time I ever saw this, it makes so much sense. We all love karaoke when we have the lyrics in front of us. It's way easier. We're way more confident, all right? So it makes a lot of sense. But here is a basic sales conversation structure. And so for all of you guys here, this is a great thing to take a picture of. This is an entire process, okay? So as I explain this, I would definitely recommend getting a picture. This will be a few minutes. But the first thing that needs to happen after you get that opportunity, okay, to sit down with someone, you of course need to build rapport. Rapport meaning trust. Be a human. Find common ground. If you, and you guys can remember back to when you spoke to me or you spoke to someone on our team, we usually ask you questions like, where are you from? How did you find us? How long have you been wanting to write a book, right? And the point of that is we know that we're on a selling conversation, but we want to let you know that, hey, we are human. We're not just here to sell you something. We are people. Oh, cool, you're from Atlanta. I've been there, all right? Dana Moore, I've been to Atlanta, all right? I've been there. So that's really cool. It's a great place I'd love to explore at, all right? And so that is the point behind that. The second thing you need to do is you need to set an agenda, all right? And this is an extremely important thing because you want to take control of a conversation. But it's not to be controlling. It's more so to give the prospect confidence that you know where you're going, okay? And you know where you're taking them. So a great way to transition after the small talk and set that agenda is, well, gosh, man, Sandy, this has been really, really good so far. And yeah, great to hear that you're from Atlanta. Well, what we're going to dive into next is I'm going to talk to you about your book. And then we're going to talk about your goals, your challenges, and hey, at the end of this, if it makes sense to work together, we'll talk about what that looks like. And Sandy's going to say, yeah, that sounds great. She knows that I'm going to ask her some questions now. She knows there's a purpose to why I'm doing it. All right, so set an agenda. All right, the next thing is where the sale is made. This is the discovery. The sale is not made when someone passes you guys the money. Okay, that's false. Sale is made in the discovery. Okay, so it's extremely important to care and actually listen to people at this stage. All right, actually listen to people. All right, what are your goals? Why do you want to write a book? What are your challenges? What's really holding you back? All right, if you're a life coach and you're trying to get another client to help them overcome, they just got out of a recent divorce, and that's maybe what your coaching offer is. Well, gosh, when did this happen? What's been the biggest challenge since you've left your spouse? Okay? And so you really, really want to care, all right? Because people buy from people that they like, all right? And people like people that care and that actually give all right? So, all right, they actually care. And so the next thing, number one, is now that you've heard everything and all their challenges and all their goals, now you can deliver your offer, okay? You can now deliver what you have for sale, all right? Now, a top salesperson doesn't just treat everyone the exact same, but they tailor their pitch to what the needs were in the discovery. Okay, this is very, very important. This is very high level. A lot of people don't think about this. But like a doctor, imagine if you guys went to the doctor's office, you said, my shoulder's hurting. And he says, well, where else does it hurt? Well, it hurts right here, and it hurts into my back, and all right? And you tell your doctor this, and imagine when your doctor prescribes something for you and says, well, here's a really nice ankle wrap. You'd say, huh? Ankle wrap? What? Okay, you'd say, did you hear anything I just said? I don't need an ankle wrap. I need something for my shoulder. All right? So make sure that you prescribe something that makes sense and ties to what they just struggled with, assuming your offer has that. Okay, you're not going to lie, but assuming your offer has what it takes. Okay? And then we get into the price buildup, all right, which I'll explain this here in a little bit, and then we're going to dive into the close. All right, but that is your basic conversation structure, okay? And so here's the most recent book that I just wrote. I break this stuff down from start all the way to finish for you guys so you can actually understand a little bit more in depth, because I know I don't have all the time in the world. So make sure you go check that out on Amazon. Would be helpful. I'm also in my launch, all right? Well, as I continued beyond Indy, all right, the car caravan kept driving through, okay? And I saw the last major city before I got to Nashville, Tennessee, which was Louisville. And as you all can probably guess, fear was beginning to set in. Yes, I can knock on doors and I can introduce myself. Okay, they did teach me on how to, talk about this product and pitch it the right way, whatever. But how am I going to collect money? How am I going to ask people to buy something? Oh my gosh, this is the scariest part of sales for the very first time. I remember asking for money and it was like, okay, it's scary. It is so scary. In this moment, I really started to think, why am I doing this? I'm literally going to knock on doors. I've never done this before. And part of me was thinking, maybe I should just pull off and get off this exit. I'll tell the car caravan that, hey, I'm just gonna go get gas, guys. I'm getting low. I'll catch up with you guys. Just keep going. Sounds pretty easy, doesn't it? And then when I go home, I can just tell all my friends that it was a scam. It's cool. It was a scam. They'll understand. All right? They'll understand. They won't care. And I only told a handful of people, so it's not like I blasted it to the world that I was going on this crazy internship to sell books door to door. So only a few people would know that I quit. So it's not a big deal. All right? And I really contemplated this because it was fear. It was setting in. And as we've already learned, where focus goes, energy flows. I wish we were in person so I could hear you guys say this to me. All right, where focus goes, energy flows. All right? And so I just didn't want to be like that guy. All right? I didn't want to be that guy. Okay? But then I remembered that I was taught how to close. Okay? The right way. The way that people actually want to buy something. All right? And so your final lesson is going to be how to close with confidence. Okay? Even if you haven't made a sale, all right? And so closing with confidence is also known as having absolute certainty in what you have to offer, okay? And we went through deep desire on day one. You can get absolutely certain in what you're doing if you know down in your gut why you're doing it. It feels so much better, right? It's hard to be nervous when your heart's focused on service, all right? But how do we maintain that confidence? How do we get that certainty? All that stuff? Well, the honest answer is that you got to remember that sales is a transfer of emotion. All right, sales is a transfer of emotion. Now, a great example of this, all right, Steve Waddle came in the other day, and I don't know if you guys have seen him. He's been blowing up the chat and all the groups and showing everything he's been doing. But he comes up to me, and we chatted on the phone before he came in, and Steve has this really, really cool faucet. All right. And if you guys think of a faucet, it's curved, water flows out the bottom of it. Well, Steve's is very unique because at the very top of the curve, there's this little switch that you can turn and water will come out when you turn the switch. So when you're getting thirsty, what do you usually do? You drink water like this. Well, now I can just turn this switch and now the water comes out the top, very easy. Great for dogs. I was thinking about that for my Great Dane, whatever. And it was interesting because when we talked on the phone, he's like, I'll bring one, I'll show it to you. And he comes up to me and he says, Chad, I got that faucet. And he comes up to me with a lot of confidence and excitement is what he's doing. He's like, check this thing out, man. Isn't this cool? And it was actually very cool, don't get me wrong, but his confidence, it was very difficult not to be excited about it because he was excited and he knew it was good, which it is. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is so stinking cool. I've never seen anything like it, all right? And so when you tell someone, if you want someone to do something that you're trying to get them to do, don't be the guy that sounds like they're laying on a couch. I mean, imagine if Steve came up to me and said, oh yeah, hey Chad, I brought that faucet for you. You want to take a look at it? All right? I'm not going to be excited about it, right? So you got to remember that you got to bring a little bit of energy, all right, to help people be excited, okay? Super, super important, all right? But you also need to be willing to ask for their dollars, all right? And so I'm going to teach you guys an exact step-by-step how to do this. This is so good. This is literally magic, in my opinion, all right? But it is called the choice of two positives. Okay, I love this. All right, so after you have explained, a little bit about the program and what you have to offer, this is where everyone gets a little muddy in the waters because they know that, okay, I'm getting to this point where I need to eventually collect money, okay? So take a picture of this so you get a chance. Choice of two positives, and the answer is, what do you like best about what I've shared with you so far? Now, we don't want to ask it like that because it's too open-ended. So what we want to do is, based on what I've showed you, Carol, all right, you see, some people love the fact that there's a coaching element to my program, all right? That's the this. And others love the fact that they get an online course to support them. What do you like best about what I have about the program? And they might choose something totally different, but it's like a 90% chance they're going to choose one of those two options. All right? Do you want spaghetti or do you want, macaroni? All right? I want macaroni. All right? They're going to choose one of the two. Okay? So it's very valuable. All right? But it allows you to stay a little bit more in control because the last thing I want someone to do is to tell me something they don't like. Because if I just said, hey, so what do you think? It's okay. So we got to lead with the choice of two positives. Make sense? If you get that, give me a heart if you get that. All right, I'm getting a lot of hearts. Thank you, guys. Okay, and here's another interesting thing. So Aaron talked about this with PR outreach email. So here's an example of me doing it in the email. Aaron does it in his, I did it in mine. Do you handle all of the scheduling, or would that be someone else? All right, who does it? You or someone else? Choice of two positives, okay? So this is something that is way more useful than just collecting money. Now, the point of us doing this, guys, is it builds a little bit of confidence and momentum going into the moment, okay, where we ask for money, all right? And so after we've done the choice of two positives, and somebody says, Chad, well, I love the coaching part of the program, all right? That's really good, okay? But if you want to really feel good about asking for money, you do this. We call it the tie down. And so When someone says, Chad, I love the coaching part, well, a great tie down is the opportunity for getting someone to sell me on why they like what I have to offer. So I say, well, why is the coaching program so important to you? And then I just wait. And guess what? They're now going to tell me, well, Chad, I've been wanting to write this book for years. Or Chad, I just know I need some accountability, and there's moments where I get stuck and I need remotivation. And I just believe it's going to be the thing that sets it apart. Okay, now pause. As soon as I hear that, I feel good about signing someone up. You want to know why? Because I know what I have to offer is going to fulfill that need. Okay? And so that is why a tie down is so good. Let people sell themselves so you don't have to be this guy. All right? The sleazy car salesman. All right? We don't want to be that guy. So you ask good questions, all right? Let people sell themselves, the tie down, all right? Now, you're probably wondering, well, Chad, you still haven't asked for money yet. What's the secret? All right, well, they're with me. I know they're excited. My confidence is building, okay? Well, this is an example of a price buildup. I'll be very brief on this. Okay, as you can see, we've all seen an infomercial before. It was $7.99, now it's $2.99, right? It looks cheaper, whatever, numbers make sense. But one of the biggest things that sometimes what you guys want to do, if you are in a coaching program where you have an offer, think of Tony Robbins. Well, Tony Robbins has a great coaching program. He has all these amazing coaches. Well, guess what? That offer might be $10,000, $20,000. And if you're someone that's specific, you do life coaching for folks that just got out of a tough situation at work, they're trying to overcome alcoholism, or they got out of a relationship, whatever. Well, you can compare your programs and say, well, hey, Tony Robbins, I'm sure you guys have heard of him. He does really, really good stuff. They charge like $20,000 to do it. Well, guess what? When somebody works with me, it's not that much. It's actually only $1,997, just shy of $2,000. Isn't that incredible? And then people think, yeah, that is. And so this is another momentum building question, all right? But here is how you ask for money, all right? Is we get ready to do the yes train. All right, I love this. I love this. Because as soon as I give the price, I know that $20,000 compared to $2,000 is a big drop off. And so the first thing I'm going to say is, man, now that you've heard of everything, man, isn't that incredible? And typically people say, yeah, that is. And then I'm going to ask another question, which is, can't you see why everyone has been excited about this? Yes. And then I'm going to ask one more question. Most importantly, can you see how this can help you succeed? Yes. All right. And the point behind this is NLP. I talk about it in my book. But when somebody says yes multiple times, they're more likely to say yes. It's almost like if you were drowning in the water and I threw you a life raft, would you catch it or would you use it? Of course, you're going to say yes. So you want to ask questions like that. Okay. You want to ask questions like that. Now, at this point, my confidence is at an all-time high. The person is with me. They like what I'm doing. They've answered the questions. They've told me why they like it. I haven't sold really at all, okay? This is where you need to ask for money. You don't say, so you got a checkbook? You got a credit card? No, you don't do that. You say, well, are you ready to do this? And insert validation means tell them that, man, what you have to share, I think, could be an awesome fit. I think we could be an awesome fit working together. I can help you do this. Are you ready to do this? That's a great question. And the worst thing they're going to say is no, or the worst thing that's going to happen is not yet. But I promise you, if you ask this to 10 people, 2 of them will probably say yes to you, and you will be surprised, and you will feel like it was magic, okay? And so, of course, I remembered all this stuff, and as you guys can guess, I eventually made my way to the beautiful state of Tennessee, and I was in Nashville, all right? And to wrap up my entire summer, I'm going to fast forward here. After I finished my first summer, right before, the weather gets cold in Michigan, yada, 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 all right? I was actually at my cabin with my buddies. We're sitting around the lake, and they all asked me, so how did that summer internship, how did it work? How did it go? And just give you guys a little bit of insight here. I worked 12 weeks in the summer, 108 hours. I knocked on over 3,200 doors per summer I did this. And I did it for a single summer, all right? I did it for one summer. And they said, how'd you do? I made about $4,500, all right? And he said, oh, cool, that's not bad. And he said, wait, hold on. How many hours did you work? I said 80 a week. He's like, whoa. And I could tell that he was like feeling that, this confidence. And he ends up telling me that, oh, you only made $3.87 per hour. Man. He's like, I was making $8.50 an hour, double, and I worked half the amount of time as you. And he's like, you're probably not going to go do that thing again, are you? And I said, well, funny you say that. I'm actually signed up for another summer. And that another summer turned into another summer, okay? And my third summer I did this, all right? I actually made over $50,000 profit selling educational books, helped pay for all my school, okay? So I learned a lot along the way. I started at square one, all this stuff, okay? And so I'm going to leave you guys with this.